Okay, so I hope everyone is able to hear me clearly. So today we're going to do a revision class, revising the usage case of the dependent particle. And today will be the final class for this particular uh, semester or this particular session of our course. Uh, After which we're going to have a break. So and so most wonderfully, we have completed the dependent particle, the portion that has to do with the dependent particle. So today we're going to talk briefly about the usage cases, all the usage cases that we have studied till now. Most probably we won't be able to finish the entire usage case, all of the usage case. So I will discuss the more important ones, the ones I think that are more important, and the ones which are not only just more important, but are also the ones which are more complicated in comparison. So we will discuss those cases here. So before we begin our class today, let us begin with this verse. This is one verse. It's a verse that is that symbolizes and it's a verse of dedication towards the system of language. So why? So it tells us how important a system of language is. So it's a verse, a 4 line, that is a praise, or that is dedicated to uh, the the system of language. So let me recite this, and after which we will begin our class. Tsikten simki melon, tuengi ngo nami char, sangin teya mingzam tang, samu nilu mingzam mo. Tsikten simki melon, which means the garland of words, which is the mirror to one's mind. Tuengi ngo nami char, and on that mirror, many different types of image imputed meaning that many different images appear on that mirror, to which we call meaning. The good and the bad are all imputed, merely designated by the name. And also the profound truth, the ultimate truth, merely imputed and designated upon by the name. And so the system of language is important in order to understand all of these. So therefore, this is a verse that is dedicated towards the system of language. Okay, so let us begin today's lesson. So Tashitale to everyone, and welcome to the lesson 39, revising the usage case of dependent particle. So okay, so so we begin with Latin. So Latin, what do we mean by Latin? Latin refers to a set of particles. So it's a usage case of a set of particles, and these connective particles, yes, okay, so these connective particles are such that they are capable of substituting la for most of the cases. So the 7 particles that we have, so we discussed last class, the 7 particles. tu, ra, ru, tu, na, na, tu. These are the 7 particles, and these 7 particles are capable of substituting la in most of the statements and in most of the cases. So what we mean that they are capable of substituting la in most of the cases is that there are certain cases where la itself is a part of a name. In those cases, la cannot be substituted by these. For the rest of the case, la substitutes la can be substituted by these 7, and the usage cases in which the la can be used, these 7, almost 7 of them can follow all of the usage case, and these usage case are, let me write this in English because, okay, so the first one is the second grammatical case. Action on an object case. The fourth grammatical case. The purpose case. The 7th grammatical case. The position of the object and its position, and then the subgroup, the subgroup of the second grammatical case, that is that itself case, and subgroup of the 7th grammatical case, that is the time and action case. So these are the 5 different cases, usage cases under Latin, the particles which can be used in place of la. And what do I mean when I say that in almost the 7 of them can be used in the 7 of these cases, is that during the usage of this usage case of these subgroup of second grammatical case, that is the that itself case, we must understand that in that case, we are not allowed to use na. We're not allowed to use na in that case, in this particular usage case. But all the rest can be used in place of la in all of these 5 different usage cases. So what do we mean? What do we know about these usage cases? The second grammatical case, so we call it the second grammatical case. Action on an object. So in this type of statement, it functions to tell us that a certain type of action is being done upon an object of that particular action. And so in this type of grammatical usage cases, the statement tells us that an action was done and the object towards which the action is done. And therefore, the 3 important, necessary component of these type of statements. First one is the action. So 3 components of these types of statement. First one would be the action. Second, the connective particle, the connected particle. And finally, the object of the action. So these are the three compulsory and necessary components of the statement that is identified, that is described, that is understood as the statement of second grammatical case. It needs an action. Action could be a change in the physical as well as the mental state. Physical being the position or the physical the physical attributes, mental being the mental attributes. The change in certain state is known as action. And the connective particle, what it does is that it shows a it shows the relation between the action and the object of the action. And then finally, the object of the action on which the action has been done. So these three key components are necessary, compulsory, for a statement to be classified as the second grammatical case statement. And in Tibetan, this type of statement is called le su cha wa. Le meaning the object of the action. Su means at or upon. Chawa means action. So action upon object. Le su chawa. And so, for example, we have example. Let us give an example. So, statement could be nang tu dro sesu sa, or sesu sa, or it could be lopta ru lopta ru. So here duk means to stay. It's Old Tibetan, which means to sit or to stay, or to reside, to sit at certain place. So we don't hear duk used in the central dialect, the central Tibetan dialect. Most of the time we hear the word de or shu. So if it's central, definitely we hear more honorific there, because it was the place where we had the central Tibetan government. So therefore, the more formal way of talking took a great importance in people's day-to-day life, as they would attend or as they would as they would sometimes be called to the court, and then therefore many of the people at the central Tibet, they have this habit of using honorifics. So therefore they would say shuk, yela shuna, which means please sit here. But the duk is mostly used in the Kham region, daga duk, which means sit here. Dukde, which means now sit here, now sit down, or now stand down. So we hear these more in the Eastern Tibetan dialect of Kham. And other terms also, for example, for human, for person, we say ni. In Eastern Tibetan dialect, we use the term ni, which is a term for man or human. But it is the Old Tibetan. These days we call it ni. We just use the word ni. Okay, so here we see that in these examples, we can see the usage case of each of these particles in accordance to the rule. So here, these substitute la So normally you can also write nang ladro, lopcha ladro, lopcha latu. You can use these. So the thing is that it is these tu, su, ru are replacing la from its statement. So therefore we see that the particular usage case is of the second grammatical case, where we have the action, which is in this case draw, which means to go. We have the connective particle, which is tu. And then we have the action, the object of the action, which is nang, that is whom, go to whom. Similarly, se susa, to eat is the action, su is the particle, se is the food, which is the object. Lobta rudro, lobta, which is the object, duk, lobta duk, duk, which is to sit or stay, which is the action, and ru is the particle. So we see this particular usage case here. Now, the fourth grammatical case, the purpose case. Fourth grammatical case, that is the purpose case. And one must understand that when we say purpose, it could be to benefit or harm. So this is the purpose case. So in these type of usage cases, the statement of these type of usage cases are those in which a particular action is done, and that particular action either benefits or harms the object. So it has the action, the object, and the connected particle. But now, the more important thing is, or in sometimes the object could be inferential. It needn't be a direct object. So therefore, one must understand that in these type of statement, an action is done in order to fulfill the purpose to benefit or harm something. So these types of statements have three compulsory components, and these three compulsory components are action, connective particle, and the purpose. The purpose, or in some case also, in some case, the purpose is also inferential. So therefore, there are only, when we talk about compulsory as in writing, then we may say that there are only two compulsory components, the connective particle and the action. So these type of statement, and sometimes what happens is that we have a particular reason, particular purpose, and this purpose is stated in the statement. Sometimes the purpose will be inferential. So, and in some cases, the object could be directly in the statement, and in some cases, the object will not be directly stated in the statement. So, for example, let's say, which means to give food. Sem ibu yong war de nien. So to listen to the song, to feel happy. Lama. J. Or you can say so these statement, as we see, these particular statement, there are all statement of the purpose case, but one must observe that each of these are written in a different format, meaning that some of them have objects, some of them do not have object, some of them have the purpose written in the statement, some of them have a purpose inferentially. So sesute is a statement which means to give food, but now the purpose is inferential. One has an inferential understanding, meaning that the purpose is inferential, meaning that why one is providing food. That is for that person to whom one is providing food. One is intending them to satiate their hunger. But the purpose of benefiting them by filling their tummy and satiating their hunger, to satiate their hunger, to fill their tummy, is not written here, but it is something that is inferential. So to give food not for the purpose of giving the food, but for the purpose of filling someone's tummy who is hungry, so that they will no longer be suffering due to hunger. And here you see that the object, the one whom we are benefiting, is not written here. The purpose why we are giving is not written here. So therefore, we see that in this, both the object and the purpose, as we see, the object and the purpose, as we see, are inferential. But we have the action and the connective particle here. Now the second one, sim kipo yongwar shenyin, to feel happy listening to songs, or listening to songs to feel happy. Now in this case, we see that even though there is even though the object is not written here, but the purpose is stated here. What is the purpose? The purpose is to feel happy, to have a happy mind, to have a happy mind, or to feel happiness. And what is the action? To listen to song. So the purpose is sim kipo yongwar, and the action is shenye. And the connect. By this, we understand that the particular statement is the statement of the fourth grammatical case. Then lama chungtutro, so going near one's guru. And this is done for many reasons. So therefore, the purpose could be anything: to ask something, to inquire about something, anything. And the action is to go near the lama. This entire thing is the action, and it has the particle also. What is the action? The action is going near the lama. So what is the purpose? The purpose could be anything related to that. It is not stated here. Do we have the object? No, we don't have the object to which we are benefiting written here. So therefore, this type of statement, we don't have the object, the purpose, but we have the action and the connective particle. Both of those are inferential here. So this is the statement of the fourth grammatical case. Now we go to the seventh grammatical case. The seventh grammatical case, which is the object and its position. So these type of statement these are the type of statement in which an object is shown to be at a particular position, and therefore the connective particle is used in a way to relate between the object and the position. So therefore the statement of these type of these type of statement in particular only functions to tell us that this is the object and it is here. In some cases, it could be, because the thing is that the statement, like I said, it functions to show a position. Now the question that whether the statement is a confirmed statement or an assumption, that will depend on the particle, the confirming particle that we use. That will depend on the confirming particle. So therefore, the type of statement in which we only show the object and its position is known as the seventh grammatical case. So these type of statements have three compulsory components, which are object, connective particle, and the position of the object. So we see that these type of statements have three compulsory components: object, connective particles, and position of the object. So let me just give you examples. Saha tu kala. Baru Drubpay. Heb to UK. So these are examples. The first one is Sahan to Kala, which means food at the restaurant. So we see that the position of the food. So let me change the font. So the position or the object, which is the food, is currently positioned at the restaurant. And this is shown by this statement, in which Sarang is the position, Kala is the object, and the particle, connective particle that relates these two is tu. Gomba Traba, monks at the monastery. So the position is monastery, and the object is monk. And the particle that relates between the monk and the monastery is ru. Tepteng to yike, letters on the book. So the position is on the book, and the object is letters or words. So these type of statement in which we see that a particular object is and its position is shown, and the relation between these two is shown by the connective particle of latin, is known as the seventh grammatical case. Now, the subgroup of second grammatical case, that itself. So the subgroup of the second grammatical case, which is that itself case. So the case of that itself is the statement, and these are subgroup of the second grammatical case, meaning that they will have object, action, and the connective particle. This particular structure, the syntax or the structure, is the same. Now, what differs is the is the fact that when it's the that itself case, the thing is that the action and the object are of the same nature. So they are both of the same nature. So therefore, if an action is done upon the object, if the action done by the object is done upon the object itself, that type of statement is the statement of that itself. So these type of statements have three compulsory components, and these are, it's the same as the second grammatical case. It is the action, connective particles, and finally the object of the action. So these are the three compulsory components that needs to be there in a sentence of the subgroup of second grammatical case, that itself. So these are the three compulsory components: action, connective particle, and object. So let me give you an example. So So in this particular statement, we see that the first action is which means for the hair to grow long. Now the action of growing the hair long and the very object, that is the hair growing, is of the same nature. The object is the hair and the action is growing hair. So both the action and the object are of the same nature. And these type of statements are known as that itself. To think in one's heart or to think in one's mind. So the action of thinking and the object of thinking, the object of mind and the object of thinking in the mind are of the same nature. To shout. The object of shouting and the object of sound, the object sound and the action of making the sound is of the same nature. So therefore, these type of statements are known as that itself statement. So, and in this particular type of statement, one is not allowed to use la and na. Yeah, you can use la and na in any other type of usage case, but not here. You cannot use this na and la here. So this is the subgroup of the second grammatical case. Now the subgroup of seventh grammatical case, the subgroup of the seventh grammatical case, that is time and action case. So these type of statement, what they do is that they show that a particular action is taking place at a particular time. So it shows an action and when that action is happening, or when that action happened, or when that action will happen, or when that action should happen, if it's a command, that is. So the subgroup of the seventh grammatical case, time and action case. Okay, so what do we have here? We know that these type of statements have three compulsory components, and these three compulsory components are action, connective particles, and finally we have the timing of the action, or time of the action. So this example, as we see, is an example of the subgroup of seventh grammatical case, the time and action case. So, shokpa ngapor lobter tro. So, to go to school in the early morning. So the action is to go to school. And what is the timing? It's early morning. And the connective particle is ra. So you will also observe that there's another particle here, but this particle is not a particle used in the seventh grammatical case. This is used so this entire statement, that is the statement of second grammatical case, not of the subcase, but of the second grammatical case, is used as the action. So, Sangni Menka to draw. Tomorrow, go to hospital. So, Sangni is the time. Sangni, but here we see that there are some instances when, for example, when we are able to skip the particle, meaning that the particle can be inferential and it is there, but it need not be written there. And this is done for just one single purpose, that is to assure that the statement that we're writing does not become too wordy, meaning that there's no too much, there isn't a lot of word in a single statement. So here we can say that the particle is inferential. So sangmin tu or sangmin menkan to go to hospital tomorrow. So this will be the incorrect. So this is the particle for menkan which is the second grammatical case. But this entire second grammatical case statement is the action for this timing. So going to the hospital when? In the morning. So going to the hospital tomorrow. So tomorrow going to the hospital tomorrow. So we see that the timing is tomorrow. The action is to go to hospital. Sal Hakbar going to the monastery on Wednesday. So we see that here the time is Wednesday. The action is to go to monastery, and the connective particle is ra here. This is also the connective particle of Latin, but here it is just as a part of the second grammatical case. So a part of the statement of the second grammatical case. Okay, so this is the subgroup of the seventh grammatical grammatical subgroup of the seventh grammatical case. Now we're going to talk about the usage case of the continuative particle. So there are three continuative particles, as we know. Te, te, te. So let me write this. Te, te, te. These are the three particles of the continuative and so these are the particles of the continuative particle. So we know that there are three usage cases. The first one is the usage case of connecting two actions. Usage case of connecting two actions. So let me take this. So the first usage case is case of connecting two actions. The second one is case of providing. So the case in which one has taken the commitment. So commitment case. And the final one is case of stating an object other than the one stated. So these are the three usage cases that we have taught. The first one is case of connecting two actions. And in the case of connecting two actions, we must understand that there are two types. So the case of connecting two actions happening simultaneously. So happening simultaneously. The second one is the case of connecting two actions happening one after the another. So the first type of statement, the statement of the case of connecting two actions happening simultaneously, is the type of statement in which two actions happens at the same time. So let me provide examples. So I'll try to explain it as quickly as possible. So for now, we have Miki tate tong. Miki tate tong. Semki sam te te. Ming pe te ko. So these particles, now we see that in these usage cases, the actions are happening at the same time. So the actions are happening at the same time. So therefore, in these type of statements, we see that the actions are happening at the same time simultaneously. So both one action brings the other action, which happens at the same time. The first one is migda de tong, which means to see and to look and to see, meaning to look somewhere and then to see something. So the action of looking and at something and the action of seeing it, both of them happens at the same time. So to look and see. The second one is to think and then to remember. So when someone thinks about something in particular, the moment they think of that thing is the moment they remember that thing. So calling the name and hearing the name. So the moment someone called the name. So it has to be so definitely there are conditions. For example, the person might not be able to hear the person calling due to some circumstances. So here, let us consider the possibility that one is just near the other and then calling the name. Okay, so this is the case when the actions and two actions happen simultaneously. The second one is the case in which the first action happens and then second action. So the first action is the cause for the second action, and then the first action, the cessation of the first action becomes the cause of the initiation of the second action. To ask question and to get the answer. To ask question and to get the answer. Noun to Drubpay to go to home and to do homework. Se sem ka. So to feel happy after giving food. So we see that in this statement, to ask question and then to receive answer. So the action of receiving the answer only happens when one has already asked the question. One cannot answer before being asked. So that is the statement here, where the action of asking comes before the action of answering or receiving the answer. Noun to draw the to go to home and to do homework. So the action of doing the homework comes only when someone reaches someone reaches home. When they reach home, they start doing homework. The sensation of feeling happy comes only after offering food to someone. So offering food to someone who needs the food. So one offers the food to someone who needs the food, and then after offering it, one feels happy. One feels happy and joyful after offering the food. So this is the connecting case of connecting, the continuative case of connecting two actions. So now the commitment case. So the first commitment could be the commitment of reasoning. So one could commit, state something, and by stating it, they commit to provide a reason. So commitment as reasoning. So this type of statement are the statement in which a reasoning is provided for a particular statement that is made. So there are three parts: the statement, the particle, and the reasoning. For example, Prerna. May you the sim ite Tibetan. Hep nyote lala hep saba yu. So the first one, may you tua yu. There is fire. So the statement says there is fire, and it demands or it requires a reasoning. And so the commitment made while saying this statement that there is fire there requires one to also provide a reasoning. So there is fire because there is smoke. And so the fact that there is smoke becomes the reasoning that there is fire. Second statement, Semkite Shetang. How do we know that so we say he is happy, they are happy. Why? Because they were singing. So the reason that they were singing is the reason that we can say that they were happy. Teb nyote lala teb saba yu. They have bought a new book. They have bought a book. Why? Because they have a new book in their hand. So in this particular type of statement, we see that a reasoning has been provided. So commitment as reasoning. The second type of commitment is commitment as providing classifications. So commitment as providing classifications. So in these type of statement, what happens is that the statement requires us to provide a reason of a classification of a particular class. So it requires us to give the different subgroups or classifications under a class. So pernah kunchok te sangye kunchok ang chu kunchok tang edu kunchok che. So particular type of statement, we see that the classification is being provided for a group. So the main group is stated in the beginning, that is kuncho somte, which means the 3 gems are. So now when we say the 3 gems are, what we do is that we commit to providing the classifications under the 3 gems. So the 3 gems are Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So these are the 3 gem. So we see that the main group is the 3 gem, and Buddha, Dharma, Sangha are the classifications or the subgroup. So this is commitment as providing classification. And then there is the commitment of providing the commitment of providing the true statement, or so commitment of providing. So here we provide a synonyms, meaning that we provide the explanation. So providing explanation in a way to clarify, to clarify the name, the name or the reason why certain thing is named in a certain way. So these are mostly used when we have the synonyms in Tibetan. So pernah soke te sole te. And Namke meto de. So here we see that we are providing explanation why certain things are called in a certain way. So then now, for example, Sogete Soleke. It is called lotus born because it was born out of lotus. Namke metode namkar yupe metotanta. It is called the flower of the sky because it looks like the flower situated in the sky. So this we're actually calling the sun, and this refers to the lotus. Okay, now the final one is providing elaborate explanation. And these are done normally in the text. If you look at the text, especially the commentaries, in which they provide like extensive explanation or extensive elaborate explanation for a certain thing. So the final one is commitment of providing elaborate explanation. So to provide an elaborate explanation for something. So these are the different usage cases under the commitment case. And then finally, to provide an object, to state an object or phenomena, which is, or a name which is other than the one stated. In that type of statement, we just write two phenomena, and then we connect them with the connected particle. That's it. So this is the continuative particle. Some of the particles we have already discussed quite recently, so I don't switch cases. The ones with the more complicated or the more subgroups were discussed here. We weren't it seems that there are some others, for example, the sixth grammatical case and the fifth grammatical case, sorry, the third grammatical case, which have a considerable amount of usage cases under them. So for those, if you have any questions, make sure that you ask them in the group. So for today's class, we will be ending at this point. Okay, so before I read the final verse, do we have anyone who have questions regarding today's lesson? That is of the some of the usage cases that we talked, the particle used in place of la, later, and the continuative particle. So do we have any questions?
Genla,
Yes, so.
thank you for your brilliant teaching today and every day. Simple question about lexical question about the word. In today's example for dative case, you use example lama tundu jo, and here we have dara to dash kudu na tung in the meaning near, in some near position. And as I get, it's a root meaning of this tung, to be in close position, but base meaning. But how we from this tung get tung hor as a, you know, we meet this word recently, tung hor as a lekungi Lukungilepa.
Which
Trung,
one?
I will try to say brief. Trung means near, but how we get from this near Trunkor for worker?
So how we get? I think let me turn on because I think there are some things that I cannot hear clearly. So can you please repeat the last one?
Okay, I will type in chat.
That's all. You cannot hear me? Is everyone able to hear me? Okay. So please type it there so I can see it. That's all. Okay. And what was the question regarding Trunkor?
If we have Trung for something that is close to us or other,
Yes.
why Trunkor is used for something for making work?
So Trunkor and Tungi refers to someone is someone that is like a secretary. So someone who is always in front of the main boss. So you see. So
Okay.
therefore, that is the reason why we say Tungi.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
That's all. So do we have any other questions?
Yes, Kella.
Sure.
My question. Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
That's all.
My question is regarding the Ladin Lesu Jawa. So lay here means usually lay is Jawa itself, right?
Yes.
But then lay here doesn't mean Jawa. Is Jawa you, Drubpay?
Yes.
And why is it that, and how do we know when we read the Jawa? When do we know it's referring to the Chawe Yul or is Jawa? And then also Lesu Jawa, the Su here is also Ladun, right? And then in which category should we it falls into? Is it Deni, or Lesu Jawa itself, or Goche? Which one?
So Lesu Chawa is so you mean to say is Lesu Chawa itself is that itself case, right?
Lesu Jawa, the Su in the middle is Ladun, right?
It is not. Yes. So
Sorry?
this is also an example of the second grammatical case, Lesu Chawa.
So it's not Deni.
No, this is not Teni, but this is the second grammatical case.
Lesu Jawa. Okay, and so when do we know the Le is referring to Jawa or the Jawa Yu?
Yes. So this is something that we might have, we will have to cover later, but I'll just talk very briefly about this. This is about the two different type of lay that we will encounter. One in the 30, other in the gender sound. So the lay that we have in the 30 is called sumle, the lay of the 30. And the lay that we have in the gender sign is called tagle. And both of them are different, meaning that this lay is the part of le suchawa, which means the object of an action. This lay is part of chaje lesum, in which cha is chaveyu, che is chebapo, and cheba and le here means cha is the action. So during the gender signs, the text of the gender signs, when we refer le, it will be the action and cha will be the object. But when we refer to the 30, le will be the object and cha will be the will be the action. So it depends in which particular text that you're talking. So it depends on the text when you say lay referring as the object or lay referring as the action.
That's all. So for the Tang lay is charger lay is what? Shall we use
Cha is
cheba
che is cheba cheba, the primary and secondary subject, and lay is the action.
That's
That's
thank you. And can I ask another question? It's also regarding to the Ladun. We always use perna, right? Perna. I assume that perna the ra Genju is also Ladun, and na it seems it's also Ladun. Why do we use two particles together?
which one? Perna.
Perna. Oh.
Yes.
Per is like Peru or
Yes.
Something like that, right?
Yes. So perna na is na here is used not as, so here it may seem as this is the particle, but here it doesn't act as a particle, but as a companion word. So here na is a companion word, which means as an example. So peruna, so pena, chena, drona. So this na is a companion word and not the particle. So therefore, there is no violation there.
Oh, that's what companion word means, is it like when we use as in if?
We have also if, but companion word means these are words which needs to come with other name to bring out a meaning. So yes, this is a tsikro and not so.
Thank you.
So does anyone else have a question regarding today's lesson? Okay, so before I read the final verse, do we have anyone who wants to read today? Or recite, sorry, not read, but recite today. Do we have anyone who wants to recite? Anyone who wants to recite today? It could be the entire verse, or it could be just one portion. Sorry, it could be entire full portion, or it could be one portion. And it could be any of the 4 portions if you want. So does anyone wants to read today? Do we have anyone that wants to read? So yes, of course. Then if you could, please recite Svetala today.
I need to recite 4 or 1.
So anyone, you can either recite the entire 4, or you can recite any one portion.
Okay. Ламатан гон подъезден генделяна чаксимовен арапасамани. Kunchupénin polyakshin jumping on conchil de Washington. Yangchen don't despair. No guru montu boshi yalama chukudernate. Yangchen yamu kutiniet или Kunchupénin подорхуще бахя Yangchen yamu поруча и яучи сертификаты. Канажана пома арава санам динису пахасани дентистер. Танинара тани канатан сук катапома аннубу. Конатона пома орава соту латидес. Dr. David credea că plecă continuă și înainte de cuida. Tura rutul n-a la cu, la dio n-am continuare, prin Pura-rutunala tu, lajunal terdiminte, nani cispadang, tini tekap nama juk. Lasu gabel sakti, nata nama ravutu, asantani rasandu, isiti nako, nani druk padraudu tam, te nam sata cemini, nani punta cedrate. Tortu nama ralaki, tapa sasika lagi, asantani, isanti. Yan han Гензубе, Гадабаса Такарсян, Нанамара Тарьян, Атантани, Антоньян. Это тесен флаксите, Нараласа флаксите, Атагана Памаа, Каминам Расате, Камнам Занам Памам Ам, Рамнафан Танчубе, Ларни Каптан. Raru i anyaman kantrani kanton dike au anticondisec meranjopan deși ele sunt în cardul sunt în la canton tu ric sunt carne miculie la e dragona giu cetam cai să te alternire păgnatea.
So, thank you very much for reciting. So now I will recite the final verse, and so today will be the final class, like I said, for this particular semester, and we will have an exam for this semester also, because now we have finished one portion of the text. So the announcement regarding those will be made, and so make sure that you revise everything. So once the exam is made, the links will be sent to you, and you can attempt it. And there will be a time limitation, and it will be only one time attempt. You can attempt it one time. So okay, so the verse for today. 대야 탐지 캠벨람 티그리 장배니 슈텐 두베 갸초르큐르 샤르베 체단 갸초르민 대야 탐지 캠벨람. That is the path of attaining enlightenment, being omniscient enlightenment. Sigret 장배니 is a path in which the final result is obtained by studying one word at a time. Shuten dube gyaltsor kur. When all the river comes together and submits or falls into a place, it becomes and consistently supplying water in the ocean, then the place becomes the ocean. Even if it rains at a ground like desert, at a desert, even if it rains, even if there is a rainfall once or twice, there won't be ocean at the desert. So this is the final verse, and today is the last class for our grammar class for this particular session that we had. So we'll have a break after this. Starting from 16th, we will have a break, and the duration of the break will be 3 weeks. So it will be announced there, and so after which, when we resume, we will start with the independent particles, which is the third portion of the text that we're studying. And then we'll have punctuations. And finally, we'll have few classes on history of Tibetan language. But all the informations regarding will be posted accordingly. So make sure that to check with them. And those who are interested, make sure that you register with the course. And yes, make sure you recite and revise and those who are joining me for the last class of intermediate reading, part 1, Psychology. We will be having class on Sunday. And yes, and those who are just joining me for the grammar class, this is the last class. I'll see you after the break. Those who are joining me for reading class, I'll see you on Sunday. So I hope all of you have a wonderful day wherever you are. And thank you very much for joining in. Dorje, and thank you.